Quick episode recap. It's another great day, and Touya is given a polite greeting as he enters a library cafe named Moonreader. But upon realizing it's Touya, the girls immediately call him owner and bow to him. As it turns out, the girls that he helped escape previously by allowing them to stay at the manor have now integrated into society, working in his newly established book cafe. The three adventurers also work there, being mainly responsible for the security. To Touya, the business idea came on a whim. He sold large quantities of bicycles to the merchant Alba by using the mass production feature of the workshop. This was how he collected the initial funding for his book cafe, which allows avid book lovers to read in a comfortable environment without having to buy books, which are considerably more expensive in this world. According to Rebecca, this concept has been especially popular with women, as only a small entrance fee is collected to allow them access to many books. The young adventurer, Will, also asks if Touya made all the furnishings in the store, and upon Toya's agreement, voices his envy at his versatile abilities. He tells them that his late grandfather was able to use null magic, but he himself didn't have the aptitude to learn it, which is upsetting for him. Touya inquires which null magic it was, and he tells him it was a spell called gravity, which makes anything the user touched heavier. This seems to catch Touya's interest, but Will claims the spell isn't very useful as it only augments the weight a tiny bit. Touya disagrees, stating that it depends on how the spell is used, and that it could potentially be an ultimate level spell. Afterwards, Touya and Yumina go to the Adventure Guild to look for a quest to raise her guild rank to Red. Touya notices a job that requires hunting a bloody crab, which Yumina informs that it's known for its large pincers and very hard shell. Its body can be sold for a high price, so he decides to take it. While presenting their IDs to the clerk, she asks if Touya is the owner of the library cafe that recently opened. She introduces herself as Prim, and excitedly asks if he plans to stock a book series called The Order of the Rose as part of his store's collection. At her request, he decides to have it prepared, earning her thanks. As he and Yumina walk out, Touya reflects that Prim must really love books, but Yumina questions if he knows what the book series is about. She explains that it depicts a story of conflict and love within a male-only night order in a certain nation, and Touya gets baffled at the concept of it. It's the kind of genre that Lindsay is obsessed with, but as he did promise Prim, he has no choice but to buy it. Touya is surprised she knows the story, and she quickly clarifies that she knows the author. She is someone famous, so she publishes the books under a pseudonym, but her actual identity is Relil Ren Refris, the first princess of the Refris Empire. As neighboring countries, the Belfast and Refris monarchies are closely affiliated, which is how Yumina has known her identity as an author. Lost for words, Touya decides to focus on the job first, and he quickly carries Yumina over to the monster's location. Upon sighting it, Yumina casts earth magic to bind it, while Touya appears behind it and uses the gravity spell to crush it to the ground. He's apparently doubled the crab's weight, making it unable to move. He deduces that Will's grandfather lacked the magic capacity to use the spell to its max potential. With the quest completed, Yumina ranks up, catching up to the rest of Touya's party. Touya then updates Prim that he plans to go ahead and buy the books, but asks if she has any more recommendations from that particular genre. She asks him to wait a moment, before quickly gathering her female colleagues together to discuss books. Prim presents him with a long list of the fetish the girls are obsessed with, and eagerly reads them out. As she begs him to acquire them, Touya states he'll consider it. He teleports over to the capital of the Refris Empire, Bern, and enters a bookstore to ask the clerk to gather books from the list. She reads over the list and sees he's into some kinky stuff. Touya defends he's gathering the books for his customers, but the damage has been done and the clerk doesn't believe him. He was looking for other books while the clerk prepares his list, but he overhears a customer's dismay on a book being sold out. Touya comes back to the desk where the clerk tells him she's readied his order. The other customer realizes he bought the last copy of the book she wanted, and pleads with him to let her buy it as all other bookstores are out of stock as well. She glances through the books he's bought, and notices the Order of the Rose among them among other prominent titles, and praises his tastes, though he tries to deny again to no avail. She calls him back and offers him a deal. If he'd sell the book she wants, she would sign all of the Order of the Rose books for him. Touya doesn't see any benefit in doing that, but the girl reveals that she is the author of the series. He doesn't buy it, so he sounds her out by asking then if she is the first Princess Releal. Her stunned reaction then confirms her identity, and she panics because he knows a truth even her father, the Emperor, doesn't know. She assumes Touya will blackmail her to form a close sexual relationship with her brother, the next emperor, and take over the nation, but the accusation frustrates him. He angrily clarifies that Yumina told him, and he introduces himself as the unofficial fiancé of Yumina, shocking her because Yumina is a woman, not a man. He brings Yumina over to meet with Releal. He hands over the book she wanted as he's now made a copy of it using the workshop. Releal has too many wild fantasies, and it's getting on Touya's nerves. He's now filled his store with many new books, and the clerks are all very excited as they eagerly check out the materials. Prim doesn't forget to thank Touya for his efforts, and Lindsay also looks forward to reading them. He heads over to Will, and he thanks him for teaching the gravity spell and offers to fulfill a wish that he has, whether it's something he wants or wants to do. Will declares he wants to get stronger as there's someone precious he wants to protect. A glance at the counter, and we immediately know it's young love blossoming. With that in mind, Touya asks a favor from the knight captain at the duchy to teach Will, and the captain promises to train him to be strong. As he was about to leave, Elise walks out to inquire Toya's purpose for being there. He tells her what happened, and Elise then asks if he would take her to the hot springs. Like any hot-blooded male, he agrees to take her. Touya checks in with Micah to ask if there are any issues with the hot springs, but she tells him the revenue is flowing in and not to worry. Then another acquaintance, Zanuck, approaches and Micah tells Touya that he is a regular that frequently advertises the springs to his own store customers. Zanuck informs him that the outfit Touya requested has also been completed, and he happens to have brought the prototype with him. Touya has the prototype worn by Elise, and it's revealed to be a Chinese-style Cheongsam dress. He praises that she wears it well, which she denies, but Touya knows she loves wearing cute clothes, and snuck it in as a present to her. Elise then trips over her heels, and Touya quickly embraces her, creating another intimate moment as she thanks him for the present. Sometime later, while Touya was resting, Lindsay rushes over to present him a new book series written by Releal. The premise of the story is about a man with almighty power that corrupts the nation's beauties, along with the prince to gradually rise in influence. Releal's meeting with Touya has greatly inspired her, and coming to this realization makes Touya want to chop her hard the next time they meet.